breaking news this morning from the National Football League. First video came out, which we'll show you in a minute, with Perrion Winfrey, and that led to shortly after him getting released. Before we talk about him getting released, there you go, Mary Kay tweeting he was released after he threatened a woman with a gun Tuesday night. Here's this video of the – now, we got to make it clear, you cannot see Perrion Winfrey in this video. I saw this video, and I was like, well, how do we know it's him? Mm-hmm. Then there was a report that the police were investigating, and then the Browns cut him, so I think it's safe to assume it was him, but we don't know for sure that it was him. Here's the video that was put out there.
What are you about to do? Perrion, what are you about to do?
You don't think it's on me? I will smack the shit out of both of y'all.
Why are you
I will smack the shit out of both of y'all.
Right here?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
In front of all these people?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
In front of all these people?
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, hell no. Give me that shit.
Give me that fucking phone. Get the fuck out of here.
There you go. It's pretty ugly stuff. Again, we don't know with 100% certainty that it's him. You see the bruise on her neck. We don't even, to be fair, we don't even know that bruise was from that incident.
Mm-hmm. All we know for sure is police are investigating Perrion Winfrey for an alleged involvement in an incident on East 9th outside of the 9.
Right.
And the Browns have cut him following this second investigation.
So,
that's all we know for sure.
Right. So that's all we know, but your first reaction there, Tyvis, go ahead.
Well, my first reaction was it was horrible.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those. I've never been a fan of domestic violence at all. I hate that. To me, I just think it's a weak thing. But then as I watched the video, it's like you say, his face is not on there. So at the end of the day, I don't know if he was there or not. I mean, we can assume that he was, and a lot of people are going to assume that he would do something like this because of his past. I mean, he's quite dug himself a hole where he's had a lot of off the field issues. So it's easy to believe that he would do something like this, and I think that the Browns have done the right thing. You know, that you have to take this seriously. You know, obviously with the things that they've done in the past, you know, with Deshaun Watson all last year, you got to show women that you are with them and you do take this stuff seriously. The NFL takes it seriously to begin with. So I think that it's the right thing to do. As the investigation goes on, if more things come out where, you know, maybe it wasn't him, maybe it was a money grab, I don't know, then, you know, maybe you could look to bring him back. But until then, right now, you have to go do it the way that the Browns are doing it and make sure that you cut him and make sure you get the correct answer and get the evidence that you're looking for.
Your name too hot in these streets right now. Named way too hot. Back in the day, you used to have the hot boys. You said the block is hot. His block has been scorching.
I mean, he got a lot going on.
I mean, he was his name. Not this wasn't his fault, but he was involved with the Greg Newsom thing, with the cars, right? Mm-hmm. You know, he had the incident, you know, over the summer where he was going to court or whatever, and the Browns, you know, kept him after that situation. He had situations back in Oklahoma, right? So, you know, at some point in time, they're not going to play with you like that. At some point in time, they're going to say, well, look, bro, you're not a first-round pick. We don't got much invested in you. We didn't just give you a crazy contract. And the way they look at it is, he's doing this right now, and he ain't even got no money. He ain't even got no real money.
I'm about to say, he got a couple $100,000.
He got a couple $100,000.
He ain't got that bag.
But he's spending that in lawyer fees.
Yeah.
Them is all going to lawyer fees the way he getting down. So he hasn't, if you pay, and they looking at it like this, even if he do play, and we give him a big contract, what's to say this dude can even stay out of trouble for 5 minutes? And then it's just like, I don't know if he was on camera saying it or like that, but, I mean, you could doctor a lot of things. I'm not sure that's doctorable. It sounds like his voice, right? Obviously, they're going to do an investigation. But even if that was his voice, and even if that was him and he's not on the camera or whatever, the stuff he's saying right there is crazy reckless, bro. What are you talking about? You got it on you, like, for real?
Well, I mean, to be fair, you know why. I mean, he just got robbed, so you know he's shell shocked behind that. But the thing is, for what?
Like, he said it to a female.
You talk about I'm saying it's a female. What are you doing?
Like, she was like, really, Perry? Really?
Yeah,
like,
we're talking about a female.
And it doesn't seem like, it does seem like she knows the guy.
Right.
Now, granted.
It's not like it's a common name.
I don't know. So at the end of the day, they're gonna do an investigation.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep it.
The reality to me is, even though we don't know for sure it's him, why would the Browns must know it's him? Otherwise, why would they cut him? If they thought there was no rush to cut him, if they thought it might not be him.
No, because his name, like G said, his name is
No,
high.
I know that, but let's say they were able to prove that it wasn't him, that this thing was made up.
Oh, well, then
don't you think somebody with the Browns, somebody in their security team, called the Cleveland police and said, "Hey, was it him? Yes or no?" You know that happened.
Yes.
Or they called him straight up.
Right, or he admitted.
Perrion, do not lie to me. Is that you on that? Is that you your voice on that camera?
They knew it was him. I mean, it's most likely him.
Listen, the man's been in the building for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what he sounds like.
Right.
You know the type of language he used. You know his slang. You know his voice. So you would be able to watch the video and tell if that was him or not, just from the sound of his voice.
And the bottom line is, he's not, as G said, he's not good enough. That's it. If he were a great player, if Deshaun Watson wasn't a great quarterback, he'd be out of the league right now.
Yeah.
No matter what you believe about what happened, he would 100% be out of the league if he were some random quarterback.
Well, you know that the Browns, it has to be significantly bad because the Browns have shown that they will stand behind you. You know,
they've done it if you're good. They always stand.
Yeah, but if they've done everything they could. All right, he's had the assault. He's had the off the field issues. He got suspended for a game last year. It was a lot of things that they put up with to try to overlook it because they wanted to work through this and try to make him a better person. But it's like
you said the right thing. The Cleveland Browns is so desperate to win. I wouldn't even say this is credit, but look at what the people they had. They drafted Manziel. He was going to Las Vegas with a mustache and wig in the middle of the week. Him and Josh Gordon drunk on the plane. He
had an incident on the 9 too.
Oh, he had a crazy one. So look at all these people. They signed Kareem Hunt when nobody else was signing him. Now Kareem Hunt is by all intents and purposes, he's changed his life around.
Where was his incident?
Well, he
kicked that woman.
No, I'm saying, where was it?
At the 9.
The 9. Yeah, y'all got to stop, get away from the 9.
Yeah. Now they drafted Perrion Winfrey. They went after Deshaun Watson. It's not like these dudes don't, like if you good or relatively a contributor, they for everything.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, well, come on in here.
Well, I told you, Cleveland is rehab. You know, they do a lot of they work with you, try to bring you back, get behind you, but if you're going to keep doing it, I mean, it's like, all right, man, we did everything we could. And the Browns have done a lot for Perrion. So you can't say they did.
And video is devastating.
Yeah.
There's only one person in the world that gets away with stuff on video. We all know who he is. But the rest of y'all, y'all better toe that line. If your voice is caught somewhere, or if they catch that video, it's a wrap.
But what I did like is that she ultimately knew that this thing was gonna go left. She pulled that phone out and started recording.
As she should.
But like, how you not conscientious of that though? Like,
why is he not conscious?
Yeah, like, bro, this is your life. Like, I don't think you realize it's not just the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. It's the NFL.
It's not another team's
picking
them
up. That's what I'm saying. You done. Like, whatever it is, it can't be that serious.
Kareem, as you said, Kareem Hunt was great in Kansas City, and there was not much demand for him once he got cut. And he was great there. This guy's done nothing. Nobody's picking him up. Nobody.
Alvin Kamara. Listen, that's Alvin Kamara though. Like they was just like they moved that all the way up underneath the rug. They beat the brakes off that dude.
He went from about to be suspended for a year to I think he got.
What
did he get? Like a fine or community service or something?
I don't think the league has determined the suspension yet.
No, I'm talking about the charges.
Oh yeah.
Charges is crazy.
He got
community service.
Yeah, probation, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll see what the league says. Go ahead, Mike.
So we're all big fans of Mary Kay here. She's as connected as anybody with the Browns and is on top of all this stuff. In her article, she mentioned, in her article about the Browns releasing Winfrey, she mentioned that after they stuck by his side following the April arrest in Texas, he was essentially put on a no-tolerance plan.
Right, which was smart.
And part of his process to get the charge dropped in Texas was he had to complete a pretrial diversion program, which is supposed to essentially be anger management and learn how to handle these situations better.
Right.
And he completed that a month ago. And to see this alleged incident happen less than a month ago,
it was done.
It took 4 minutes from when the video hit the internet to the Browns announcing they had cut him. So
yeah, I mean,
zero tolerance policy was in full effect.
To me, he's no loss. I think, and I'll tell you what, we talked about this guy a lot last year. But if I'm the Browns, and now that I haven't spent the money on DeAndre Hopkins, and I got whatever 12 or 14 million in cap space right now, I'm calling Ndamukong Suh. I know we talked about him a lot last year, but when we heard the stuff from what's his name, who just retired, who said the things about Myles Garrett on NFL Network. Malik Jackson. Like, it feels like maybe Ndamukong Suh is the guy to light a fire under Myles Garrett a little bit. Like, Ndamukong Suh's not going to put up with guys falling asleep.
Who is the guy that made Myles do the get-offs again in OTAs? Was it Zadarius Smith? Yeah, so somebody's already doing that.
I just think, like, Ndamukong Suh, I kind of understand why he wouldn't have wanted to come to Cleveland last year because their defensive line sucked. Yeah. But now, if you've got him to partner with Tomlinson and Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett, he's not the player he once was, but he's still –
I think that the
solid.
Browns are prepared for not getting another defensive tackle.
Yeah, that's fine. They don't need one.
Because they, like I said, OTAs, they have Zadarius Smith playing defensive tackle anyway.
I'm not saying they have to get one.
Well, I get what you're saying.
Like, why not kick the tires on that right now?
Well, Ndamukong Suh is one of them guys that he's not going to come to you unless he knows that you are a legitimate playoff Super Bowl contender.
Fair.
So
he
might not sign. He might not sign the week 6, week 7.
He is not going to nobody's camp.
Yeah, for sure. You can forget that.
Point. But I definitely think he's a guy they should be even more this year.
Well, I think
Watson be keeping an eye on.
I'm pretty sure last year they was in contacts with him, and then once things started going bad, he was like, I'm
not coming to you.
Yeah.
This is why. They bought in a gang of defensive tackles. Like, Maurice Hurst looks better. Hill looks much better.
The thing about Hurst, to me, he's the most interesting guy at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Because he was a good player. Did you play with him?
No.
He was a good player.
He was a good player his first 2 years in the league, and I don't think he's played no games.
He's been hurt.
He's been hurt.
Yeah.
I'll look up the exact numbers, but he's missed a lot of games.
I don't think he's played at all. Maybe one or two games.
I'm gonna tell you right.
But he was pretty solid his first 2 years in the league. So you'd think that guy, if he could be healthy, is probably
the one
has the most upside of anybody.
He's played 2 games in the last 2 years.
Yeah, he should be fresh.
Well, I tell you what, one of them defensive tackles woke up and saw this news and was like,
"Let's go."
Yes,
right?
I'm good this year. I got a better chance now.
Jordan Elliott, Jordan Elliott,
F him.
Hey, you better keep doing something.
Jordan Elliott hot right now. He like I love Perrion.
How big is Maurice Hurst, by the way?
Size-wise?
Yeah.
I think about
according to Pro Football Reference,
6'2".
he's listed at 6'2", 291.
About 290. That's solid weight. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. All they asking them dudes to do is change the line of scrimmage. I'm telling y'all up.
Not even. You could be a straight pass rusher.
Right now, you're going to see a whole different. This is why it's exciting to watch this, because they're going to have a new style on defense. They'll have a new style on offense. And you're going to see Myles Garrett just running around. In wide nines, we played a wide nine technique in high school. We played it 1 year, and then my junior year, and then the next year, we played, which we would call a 4-eye, or it was called an inside shoulder technique. So before we were outside of everything. So we was outside of the tight end. And when you outside of the tight end and you like 270 pounds, and you probably already way more than a tackle, you aimed, you angled in, that's a wrap, bro. I was running around just catching dudes, throwing them down. Like, get out of here. You get out of here. You're not doing nothing. But when they put you
Were you trash talking? Were you a big trash talker?
Oh, not really. I was one of them annoying dudes. I'd be like, hey, man, y'all cats, man. I didn't even listen to no DMX. I was listening to Jodeci before your game. I was listening to slow jams. That's what I was doing.
I was like, so that is trash talking.
It kind of is. And they were like, well, what is it? What you been listening to? I don't know. Forever My Lady. Like, if you singing Forever My Lady, Forever My Lady, and you sitting there, it's like
you disrespectful.
That's disrespectful as hell.
One more question for you guys on Winfrey, then we'll move on.
Yeah.
The Browns obviously did bring in a bunch of defensive tackles this offseason. That room is filled with guys with potential. Only one guy in Tomlinson has really proven himself as a force. What do you think the chances Perrion would have made this team, regardless of this incident, had he been able to go through camp? Do you think he would have been on that final 53-man roster?
I believe so because the thing, all the.
I don't think he would have been a starter though.
No, well, I don't know. It depends on how they would look at Zadarius Smith. I think that would have been the thing.
Sure.
Because when I went to the OTA's practice or the mini camps practice, Perrion wasn't there because that was the day after they just got robbed, so he wasn't there. So that's why I thought Zadarius was there, and I thought that maybe they would be Zadarius and Miles on the outside, but Perrion, all the off the field issues aside, he is a decent pass rusher. Like he had some TFLs and he was able to cause havoc in the backfield. So I think that right there would have kept him on this roster. He was just young, but as he was getting older and getting some new pass and rush moves, he was becoming a better player. So he was a decent player. He was on his way to becoming better.
Right. He would have probably made the team. He's better than Tommy Togiai. He shows more to me than Jordan Elliott. He has the body type where it looks like he could be an impact, 3 technique as far as rushing the passer. It would have been, he wasn't going to be no starter, but he could have been a contributor on the defensive line. I'm not going to sit here and say he was totally cheeks.
Well, think about it. You got Garrett Tomlinson, Obo, and Zadarius Smith. Those are your top 4 defensive linemen. Yeah. I don't know if they start, but those are your top 4 defensive linemen. You have Hurst, who, if he's healthy, is going to be on the team, I would assume. Mm-hmm. That's 5. Jordan Elliott's probably on the team, as much as we don't like him. That's 6. So
you're down to a Tristan Hill. You're down to a Tommy Togiai, who they had.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they got a lot of defensive
keep 8, 9 defensive linemen.
But you got to continue. Remember, you got edges too, because you got to rotate.
Isaiah Thomas. They just Alex Wright.
Yeah.
You got McGuire. They just drafted this year.
But usually you keep 4 D tackles, 4 D tackles usually on a roster, right?
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah.
And then maybe a 5th hybrid who's an inside-outside guy. But 4 is typically the number.
I think he would have probably been on the team. If it wasn't for the off.
I thought he would have been the starter, but
you thought he could have been a starter.
He could have been
borderline.
I mean,
if Zadarius Smith was playing outside.
Right. If Zadarius Smith was playing outside, there was an open competition for that second D tackle spot. So it's possible he could have been a starter.
Wait, Tyvis, are you suggesting that you think Zadarius Smith could be the second starting D tackle?
Yeah. Are you serious? What is one of Zadarius' best moves? Bull rush, yes.
He's on 3rd down, but you're saying on 1st and 2nd down, you can see him lining up inside?
I sure can. I don't see why. Why couldn't you?
Would
he's strong enough to hold his own. He ain't gonna get pushed off.
Look at the scrubs they had playing there last year.
Would he want to do that?
See, that's the problem.
That's more of my
question.
That's
the problem.
What's he weigh? How big is he?
Zadarius?
He's 6'3",
256 or something like that. 260 maybe.
Right.
Depends.
According to Pro Football Reference, he's 6'4", 275. It's a big dude.
That's bigger than I thought.
He can handle it,
he
but
can play inside. It's
I don't see.
I just don't know if he'd want to. Especially a year. What's this year? 8
I'm about to say that's a lot of beating. I don't.
Actually,
this is year 9.
This sounds bad, but if you moved Myles Garrett to D tackle,
that ain't happening.
He'd be the best D tackle.
True, but that ain't happening.
But he's not going to.
He ain't doing that.
I've always thought later in his career, if he starts losing a step or two, you move him to defensive tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're going to by the way, they're going to stand both of those dudes up.
Yeah.
And stand them over the offensive guard. And they're going to be moving around, doing all kind of stuff. And I've already told y'all, this is groundbreaking. On each and every play, either one of those are going to have a 2-way go, which means they have no contain. They don't have to worry about the quarterback getting outside of them. They can do backflips and spin moves all the way. The quarterback can go run around. It's going to be fascinating how it works because when I was just like, I still can't believe it to this day.
Even when you're facing a Lamar Jackson, type of quarterback.
Well, yeah, because now even if Lamar Jackson is running around, even when he said something that was crazy. He said, what you want to do is when you got 4 defensive linemen, you rushing 4. He said sometimes you don't want to even blitz Lamar Jackson because you want to give the defense time to set their moves up and actually get there and sack him, right? Sometimes when you blitz him, he could just take off right up the middle. You're in trouble. Now he in the secondary. So, yeah, we actually want Lamar Jackson to stand back there and pat and look to extend some plays.